Now, everybody who's watching, let's get RBT to
1 million
subscribers by Christmas. He's the best Madden scientist there is. I subscribe to him, and if you don't subscribe to, your favorite team is going to lose to the... I refuse to say that team.
Good news, my men, as news anchor RBT here today, as EA Sports finally getting some competition with Madden NFL. As we all know, the big reason why Madden has just taken a downward spiral over the past 5-10 years is because of the exclusive rights. They've been the only company being able to make an NFL licensed game. But now, as we all know, as reported earlier this year, 2K Sports finally got an arcade license to not produce like simulation style football game for the NFL, and like we still don't actually know what that means because dog freaking Madden's considered a simulation game, yet they have freaking Pokemon abilities for all the players. So we still have yet to see like what exactly is going to be the case with it being a non-simulation football game. But big news has came out recently. I know you've probably seen a lot of YouTubers put in their opinions for this, but screw it, I've been a news anchor throughout the summer, so when big news comes out like this, gotta make a vid on it. Before we actually get into that, I want to plug a few things. As guys, you probably see the community page and in some other videos, I am launching 2 separate channels aside from my second channel that I already have. And you'll find a link to all of them in every single description of every single video, so if you guys could go over there and subscribe, that would be awesome. We have my second channel, which is going to consist of franchise content on Madden 21 and some extra stuff. We have RB Touchdown, which launched yesterday. It's going to be NFL and college football talk. Let's see if we can get that to 10,000 subscribers today. You guys are mental. Just for my freaking community page, we got like 6K subscribers, so you guys are crazy. And also we have RBT Footy, which is going to be a FIFA/soccer channel. FIFA 21 content, maybe even some other soccer games, so I'm freaking excited for that too. I haven't made a video on there yet, but still, if we can go over there and you get that to 1,000 subs out, it'd be awesome. With that said, time to become a news anchor. As there's a ton of articles you can find on the internet about this news that came out yesterday, but I just found a random one that I thought was good for like today's video. So what happened, my dudes, is 2K and the NFLPA announced a deal. They announced a partnership, which basically means 2K Sports is going to have the likeness, names, and everything for over 2,000 NFL players for whatever game that they do make, which is huge because we thought with it maybe being a non-simulation game, even though they have the NFL rights, not necessarily being able to actually use players' names like Saquon Barkley, Lamar Jackson. Well, dudes, today, or actually I guess yesterday, they announced that deal. The only thing we don't know yet is like they're going to actually be able to include NFL teams, but if anything, even if it's just like an arcade game, you're going to have NFL Stars, which is just another game. Hence, well, the reason this is such a big deal is because they literally announced this in March, an arcade-style NFL game, and automatically EA Sports has freaking came back and made a game mode like The Yard, which we still haven't seen any highlights or gameplay on, actually, but we know what it is. It's an arcade kind of backyard-style football game. So automatically, you see what competition makes EA Sports do. It makes them perform and create good stuff that good men want. So, like, this is only a positive. Number one, we're going to get an extra game, a new, like, NFL game, even if it's arcade, it's going to be fun, I think. And number two, it makes EA Sports want to make their game better and actually forces them into a wall where they actually have to make a better game. But with that said, as I already said, 2K Sports' new football game will feature current NFL players. As narrator RBT says, the new football game that 2K Sports is making will feature real NFL players in addition to NFL teams. Wait, in addition to NFL teams, courtesy of a new licensing agreement between the publisher and the NFL Players Association, the companies announced Thursday. The deal gives 2K Sports the rights to use names, numbers, images, and likeness of more than 2,000 current NFL players in its upcoming games. So I'm already confused because I've seen people talk about how they didn't have the license for actual NFL teams, but this article says otherwise. So maybe, okay, so I'm happy. Because if that's the case, dog, it could literally, like, I don't, like, the problem is right now, we don't know what it actually means to be a simulation game and an arcade game. Like, where's the fine line? Because, dog, we can agree that Madden's not necessarily a simulation game. They have Pokemon abilities. So what can, like, what can 2K actually do, like, according to laws, that actually you would think is a simulation game, but it's not considered a simulation game? So we have no idea, dog. This could literally be, like, if they can find workarounds, franchise mode, everything. But more than likely, as the article will say, it's kind of gonna more than likely be like an NFL Street kind of game or like a playground kind of game. But it's still something, you know. But I mean, the thing is, we don't know. But as we continue, we are going to have the rights to over 2,000 players, which is going to be freaking awesome. Obviously, as we mentioned earlier, back in March, I said that 2K Sports was finally getting back into the business of a video football game, having signed a multi-year deal with the NFL under which the publisher will produce multiple NFL licensed football games. They'll be the first football titles from 2K Sports since 2007's unlicensed All-Pro Football 2K8. So it's literally been 12 freaking years since we've had an NFL game from 2K Sports. And it wasn't even licensed. It was just like John Elway and random like legends. That's not we're in the game with random teams. I was wrong in the intro, so apparently they can use the NFL teams, but to what extent? Like, can there be a franchise mode? Will it kind of be like Super Mega Baseball? It can't be because I have real players. So I'm just excited to see what 2K Sports does. And one very important thing that it highlights in the actual like kind of press release from 2K is the fact that they're already planning this being a multi-year thing. Like already, this is not gonna be like a one and done thing. Number one, they had the deal for was it five years or so. It says plural video games. So whatever series they're looking to make, whether it be just like a 2K NFL 20 or something like that, rather it be like an actual realistic game, although it's not supposed to be, but we never know how the licensing is actually going to be, whether it actually means simulation arcade. For all we know, it could be 2K20 and just like a freaking NFL game like Madden, but franchise mode. It could also be a arcadey game like Backyard Sports. It could be like NFL Street. We have no idea, but whatever it is that they are putting their freaking work into, it's going to be a multi-year thing, a yearly release, and they're supposed to start it next year in 2021. And I'm wondering if it's going to be around the same release as like a Madden. Is it going to be a spring release so they don't have to compete with Madden, or is it going to be a fall release where they head-to-head compete with Madden? So whatever happens, dudes, like, competition is good because that means at bare minimum Madden's going to become a better game. They have to, or 2K, depending on what they make, will start to freaking outsell them. So I just had to interrupt the video with some breaking stuff. Like, what the fuck is this? Literally 70% of you that watch my freaking channel aren't subscribed, dude. Like, all you gotta do is click the goddamn button. My videos suck that bad. It says, what we know is that 2K plans to produce football games centered on fun, approachable, and social experiences, according to President David Ismailer. That's because its contract with the NFL is limited to non-simulation football video game experiences, since Electronic Arts retains exclusive rights to make NFL licensed simulation football titles under the blah 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 until May 26. So once again, the problem is we don't know what that means. Like, we don't know what non-simulation means. And we don't know what simulation means because, like, dog freaking Madden, like I said, they have Pokemon ability. So, like, doesn't that seem more arcadey? And since they have the rights to, like, freaking arcade stuff, like, it doesn't make sense, and we don't know. I'm sure there's legal workarounds and legal like technicalities they're gonna go through to try to make the best football game possible. But that's what I like to hear, centered on fun, approachable, and social experiences. So like that could still mean it could be like a franchise mode kind of thing. But I mean, we don't know. More than likely, no. I more than likely think it's gonna be more like an NFL Playground kind of thing or NFL Street, but it's gonna be fun regardless. Moving along, 2K has not provided any other details about the game in question, saying only that it has multiple titles in early stages of development, which means it's already started. I wish somebody would leak it. Like, what is it? I want to know. Like, there's so many possibilities. Now, they are slated to be releasing starting in 2021. The rollout is scheduled to begin sometime during Take-Two's interactive 2022 fiscal year, which means that the earliest possible release window is April 2021. So, like I said, I would honestly not be shocked if this was, like I said, an NFL Street kind of game, and they released it in April, in, like, spring, compared to fall. Like, I think that would be, like, really, really cool to have, you know, play Madden until April and have a brand new game to play for the summer. Be good for content, too. Now that they said that, maybe they're making more than one game. Like, it's going to be multiple titles. I just now kind of caught on that. Maybe it's like an NFL Street game and an NFL Playgrounds game, like there's two separate games, and they're making it for separate years. And my dog is eating a chicken back there, a rubber chicken, so if you hear rubber chicken, it's not Chuck, it's a rubber chicken that my dog's biting. No chicken! No chicken, not one chicken, not a chicken, not one bite of the chicken. So once again, the way this sounds, it sounds like there are more than one game that they're making. Hence, it would be like more than one release every year. So like maybe, just example, an actual franchise game, and then an arcade Playgrounds game. So, more content, more football games to play. The publisher's licensing agreement with the NFLPA covers thousands of current players from top-tier stars such as Saquon Barkley to unheralded contributors like special teams long snappers. But it's hard to imagine that 2K would bother including a full 53-man active roster for each of the league's 32 teams in a non-simulation football game, unless it was building something that was cartoony but ultimately a solid facsimile. Like, what does that word mean? Like, dog, what do they think I did graduate from Harvard? Dude, no, I went to South Alabama. Think of NFL Blitz or NFL Street franchises, both of which offered arcade-style football experiences with 7-on-7 action instead of 11-on-11 format of authentic NFL play. 2K Playground, so that could kind of be what it is, but NFL Playgrounds, so it has current and retired players. So, like, once again, I don't want to keep, like, going over and over and over again. We pretty much covered everything. The cool thing about this is we have no idea, really. Like, we know, what we do know is that multiple NFL titles from another company are coming. So whether it be like 2 or 3, 4, we don't know, multiples. Like, it's more than one game that they're making. So once again, the biggest thing to take out of this is the fact that actual NFL players will be in the games they make. To what extent will it be full 53-man rosters? We don't know, but all we know is, as we've seen thus far, EA has already like got themselves into gear, made a brand new game mode like the yard that we've been asking for 10 years, and this is what another big multi-billion-dollar company having rights to the NFL does to EA Sports. Makes them make better freaking games. And also, on top of that, we're going to have fun games to play as well. So, once again, also to take away, we have no idea exactly what simulation/arcade means. Like I said, I'm sure there's legal things that they can go through, try to work around, so we have no idea what they're going to make. But all I know is I'm excited for fun. Fun stuff coming.